A very warm welcome on today's flight. It's gonna be something unusual that you don't usually see on this group flight. We are going to fly from Olympia Regional to Ketchikan in Alaska on kind of a uh, flight that will take us, to Alaska in one hop. And for that, we have decided that we're gonna take jet with us today. And because I'm not so kind of actual on jet flying, I give a warm welcome to Spyros Vasileiadis, who's gonna brief us on some specific things pertaining to higher performance aircraft, especially maybe jets. But we'll see what he has planned for us, and hopefully we will all enjoy it. So with that, Spiros, it's the the board is yours here.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Uh, we're going to focus on things we take as a consideration when we fly a plane, regardless if it is general aviation single engine piston or a multi-engine jet. It's about preparation, procedures, and the other area of focus is going to be about threat and error management. And that means how we prepare for the flight, how we prepare for each phase of the flight, and what we look for each phase of the flight. And we're trying to do not specific about a specific plane or the specific route, but more trying to find the common ground, the common factor of all of this. So whether you make a flight with a Cessna or a Boeing 738, the flight starts when you wake up in the morning of the day of the flight or when you arrive at the airport and you say, okay, I have to do this flight. So let's try to do exactly that. In this particular case, I'm going to use the Boeing 738. And so we need to do our planning. First of all, we need to draw our route. So I'm using, in this particular case, SkyVector to do my drawing. I know that I'm going to leave Olympia Regional and I want to go to PAKT here. So, as the usual flight planning, I have to see how I'm going to depart from Olympia. So, this is the airport diagram. I see the runways. We start with the weather. So we see we don't have any wind, so no preference there. But if we go back to, we see that the longest runway is the 1735, and since we're having a jet, probably it's going to be our preferable runway. If we look now on the departures available for that, there is only one SID, which is a little bit silly for my liking, to be honest. We see that it is for 1735, which is fine. We see that the takeoff, the 17 has takeoff minimum, so climb 200 feet per mile until 2,200. I think our jets exceed that minimum. Uh, any question? All right. So we don't have any restriction whether we're going to use one runway or the other. And I'm open to suggestions. I would select the 17 just to minimize the taxi. Anybody else, any other ideas about which runway to use? Now, this
Well, yeah, I believe
conversation,
we have no wind, so yeah.
so in a jet, it's the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring. It's a two member crew. So these two people communicate, converse, and decide about things. In this particular case, let's say I play one member of that crew, and everybody, or maybe you, Thomas, you can play the other role if nobody else responds. So if we're happy with using the 17, we see that the Yelm 5 departure just says that we need to turn to the east and then make a turn to uh, in case of loss of communication only. Otherwise, we expect vectors for radar vectors for course and altitude. So now the question is which of these available points we're going to use as our exit point from the departure. Should we use the Olympia or maybe Tatoosh, which is to the direction that we want to go?
Yeah, I see that we have Seattle or Tatoosh. Yeah, I believe Tatoosh looks actually the best for us, to be honest.
And why not Olympia?
Uh, why? Yes, Olympia. It's kind of a tight turn, right?
Well, the departure says on the 17, 10 left, climb 064 to 3000,
Hmm.
and then we're going to get vectors.
Mm-hmm.
I checking here. I see that here it says climb the heading of the runway until 1200 and then turn direct to the Vortag. The only, and now this is part of the threatened error
Yeah.
management,
Mm-hmm.
is if we make a tight turn, since we need to climb up to 3000, are we going to be far enough to do a turn into the Olympia?
I honestly
Or it's
think
going to
that
be,
by the time we finish that turn to 064, we'll already be above 3000. That's just my guess.
okay, all right.
Well,
So,
that's my guess. If that really
no,
happens, I
no,
don't know.
I can accept that. I counter that Tattoos is going to be a little bit far, and hence we will need somehow to join the runway, not just go direct. We assume that we're going to have maybe vectors, but anyway. So let's take the tattoo as the first one. Now on the arrival part, we see that we have the airport diagram. The available approaches is for 11 and 29. If we check the METAR for PAKT, we see that we have winds from southeast, so 11 is going to be the favorable. Checking the TAFs, it seems that it's going to stay like this. So we are targeting the runway 11, and between them we have four approaches, two precision approaches. Both of the precision approaches are starting from Annette Island, so this probably is a good spot to end our en route. And Annette is here, and so now we have two options, either to go through the Sunspeed or to go direct. Any?
I personally am using the Q1 Quebec airway,
Yeah.
but we can go
Okay.
separate ways.
No. Let's do that. Okay. So
My SimBrief just didn't want to accept this Q1, but maybe because I
yeah,
just have outdated database in there, so I just
Q
upload it
Q902.
there just for performance, reasons, just directs, and
Q902.
in the sim I'll just do the Q902.
Yeah.
It doesn't want
Ah,
you to go there. The question is if that vortex is actually on that Q airway or not. The last one.
it seems so by the map.
Oh, seems so, yeah, but doesn't want to take it.
Q2.
I just take direct, but I believe that's close enough. So
Yeah. Anyway, so since we have decided about uh, our route, now we try to find uh, our alternate. So we see that the flight is going to take around 1.5 hours, and by that time we're going to have broken cloud, good weather. To cut it short, good weather at PAKT. We don't expect to be a bad weather, but if it has bad weather, how we're going to decide which is going to be the alternate? So one question is, can we go to Krakow or to Rankel or to Petersburg?
guess for that we'll need to check the airports.
Yes. So we see that this one has a declared landing distance of 6,000 feet. It's not bad. Personally, because I think as an airliner, I will use Juno because it has a base. And so somebody can fix my plane if something goes wrong. These airports are they don't have the facilities that I would like to rely upon. First of all, they are uncontrolled. I would like to have a controlled.
Then Juno is probably
So
also uncontrolled, isn't it?
no, I think it's
It's
very much controlled. It's part of
it's
the Alaska milk run.
it's written in green, so I think that it's gonna be uncontrolled. But let's verify.
Don't, don't know.
Ah,
It's very much
oh,
controlled.
here it is controlled. Okay, my bad.
Yes, it is part of the Alaska schedule, so it's always controlled.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so now the question is that is the weather of Juno make it a good alternate? So still is going to have 6 miles visibility. Sour in the vicinity is rain, not that bad. So, and I will favor the operation capability and use the Juno rather than pick up a VFR airport that I might be able to land, but I might not be able to take off again. So I have picked up this. Now it's already 18. It's already close to 18 Zulu. I'm going to put a departure time of 18:30.
Oh, they're gonna be quick.
I hope so.
I put 19.
Now, of course, when an airliner flies, the pilot receives the dispatch package, the briefing itself by the dispatcher. They don't have to do this whole thing, whole work. It is the dispatcher does that for them, but the pilots check them for errors. So we assume that now SimBrief is our dispatcher. We put the parameters in. I'm going to fly full load, and I'm going to put that Yelp 5 Q's 902. That's
Yeah.
why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I had the same problem. I just put direct
Yeah.
and fine. But
Yeah.
maybe it will tell you that it's too long a distance, so I just picked also some in middle point there.
No, it's fine.
Is it?
Okay. We'll
Oh,
go that
okay.
way.
Okay.
All right. Now, uh, here it proposes that we leave from the runway 335. Why it proposes that as favorable?
It's probably shorter in the air. Or may
Probably that,
or
or
some
yes,
TAFs maybe. The wind can change.
no,
No.
no,
Oh, the wind actually, if there is any wind, then it will prefer
yes.
runway 17. So I don't know.
I think it has to do with the departure because the 35. Because of this, we assume that with the 17 we will need there is a performance restriction. With the 35 there is no performance restriction, and that's why it says it's preferable. But we know what we're doing, and we're going to check that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 5. Analyze. Fine. And I don't have anything else to add here. Calculate. Yes. Seems to work. Generate flight. And prefile. And now, here we have the package, the briefing. We're going to use this briefing. Let me see how we can get it in a.
Where do you want to
How
get
can
it?
I want to open it in a different, in a separate window.
It was there before,
Anyway,
right?
that's sorry.
It was there before, right? Maybe if you just click copy and then just paste it somewhere into Notepad.
If you
Mm,
go into the download section, you can download it as a PDF, and it works.
Ah, so Chris had an idea.
Sorry?
The download section on top.
Ah, yeah.
If you scroll down, there should be PDF, I believe.
Where is it?
Or actually, view PDF maybe on the left. I mean, on the top is second from the.
Ah, yes, view as PDF, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
So, I don't want to go into the details of how we read an OFP.
If I can interject, Spyros, there is a
Yes.
very cool feature I discovered today because I don't use SimBrief normally, that where you can
Yeah.
actually click there in the flight to kind
Yes.
of this one. How do I read the briefing? Right, and it will
Yeah.
generate some flight, and you can just hover over this and just go through it.
Yeah.
So let's not do it now, but you can do it
Yeah.
maybe later to find out what everything means.
So, but we're going to use data from this when we're going to prepare each phase of the flight. That's why we keep it handy.
And you have everything in kilos, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we see here that these are estimations and it has space to write the actual. This is a live document, the same way that we do even in a with our navlog when we fly GA. We keep track of what is happening because this is the estimation, but we keep track of the actual. With most importantly, here we see estimated fuel on board, actual fuel on board. So we expect to leave with 8 tons of fuel, but we write, and it's part of our flight that every time we cross each of these uh, checkpoints, we write down the actual flight fuel on board, actual burn, etc., etc. That's the point I wanted just to make with the OFP. So let's go to the flight part. So here we have our plane. Now I can show you that the FCOM for this plane, here it is. FCOM is the Flight Crew Operational Manual. It's a very extended manual, hundreds of pages, and apart from all the other stuff you usually find in a POH, it has this normal procedures, amplified procedures, which means that it goes through all the nitty-bitty details on what you do, when you do, etc., etc. In reality, we don't follow that checklist. This is not a checklist that you follow through your flight. This is a checklist. This is a procedure that you learn. What pilots actually do is they are using flows. And so if we see the flows of okay, not this. I'm trying to find there is a very nice I was trying to find that. Give me a second. Not this.
So have we actually moved to setting up the aircraft already?
No, no.
No.
We are going to start in a little.
Okay.
Not this.
I mean, just you know, when we know that you know the briefing's over and the flying part starts. So I don't know if you planned to kind of set up the aircrafts together or if that's
yes,
already.
I'm going to use I'm going to use flows
Okay.
for I'm going to use the flows for setting up and the checklist, and then do the briefing for each phase.
Ah, okay.
All right. So the boring part is over, if that's what you're asking.
No, no, that's not why I'm asking. I just wanted to know, you know, if yeah. All right, let's keep it like that,
All
and
right.
I will try to set up the
So
aircraft with you.
okay. So we have now a cold and dark plane. Uh, we assume the role of the captain. The first officer sits there. We have areas of responsibilities. So uh, we have two roles. One is the pilot flying, and the other is the pilot monitoring. The pilot flying is setting up the cockpit while the pilot monitoring does the walk around. And then when we start the plane, the pilot flying, let's assume that it is the captain, has the flying duties, meaning that we fly the plane and the pilot monitoring activates the systems on my command around the plane. For the preparation, it's the pilot flying responsibility to set up the overhead. Then each pilot starts from this and sets up everything. The pilot flying goes up to there. The pilot monitoring starts from this side and stops there. And when we're doing the overhead, we start the flows in columns and we go from left to right for each phase. So now we're preparing, right? And I'm saying first column, I don't have anything to do. Second column, battery and ground power on. And now I have full power on my plane. So I'm not going to explain like I'm demonstrating how the Boeing works. I'm just going with the flows. Nothing there, nothing there. Here, seat belts on and emergency lights armed. Nothing here, nothing here, and nothing here. I'm waiting for align my IRS. I'm not doing anything about I'm skipping the safety checks because right now I have to check the flight recorder. I have to check here the
Fire.
fire if they work. I'm going to skip all that because that's something that is not in the scope of this flight. So I'm going to set up my IRSs only.
Well, I need to wait for
That's
it
all.
like for 10 minutes at least.
This is a setting.
I know it's a setting. I purposefully put it on realistic.
Okay. So now we have to uh, load our plane, and we're going to use
Actually,
this thing.
6 minutes remaining.
Okay. So, and I'm going to, okay, menu.
We need to put our fuel, right? Or something.
Yes, I'm first loading the flight plan.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I don't have to activate. It doesn't matter, but I'm not executing. So again, overhead, and we go to nav. And we start our APU. The APU draws from the left side.
Someone loaded just into me.
And now we are going to load fuel and go menu, FS actions, fuel, and the we need to load 8 tons. Payload. I made a mistake because here I have put the economy, which gives 184, but here I have this set up for business class, so I don't want to change it right now. I'm going maybe I can change it. Okay, fine.
By the way, Spyros, was
Uh,
it possible to set the zero fuel weight directly? Because it doesn't work for me now.
okay, which
You mean
where?
instead of putting like the passengers and cargo, if you could
Hmm?
set the zero fuel weight directly instead, and it would just calculate the
Here.
passengers. Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, I tried and cannot make it work for some reason. I don't know why.
So estimated zero fuel weight is 62 tons, 300 kilos. 62.3.
Cannot put it.
Yes, maybe we have
Oh,
select
my zero fuel weight is actually lower than the minimum that it allows, which is strange.
maybe the simple if you did something wrong.
Maybe.
Okay, so we have loaded our plane. Now, before when we start loading passengers, we need to start our packs. So APU on, and we monitor the temperature is 22. And now we start again the flow. First column, your damper on. Here, fuel pumps on. We start from here. I just like to put it on generator 1 and transceiver 1. Power on the APU, so we can disconnect the ground. Now, nothing here. We start here, nothing here. And here we have Windows heat on and probes. Although I can leave it to auto, I prefer to put it on. And I can start the electric hydraulics. Nothing here. I have already set up this, and now we're going for the cruise altitude, which is 34,000. And here we click on nav and logo. We go now to here and we set up things. Receiving on both these. We've got the 1603, 1603. It's mode alpha and parking brake. And now we are setting up our dashboard panel, 34,000. Terrain on, position, data, station, traffic, flight vector, and we have from the meta column, it's 3009. All right, and we continue setting up our flight here. Departure, KOLM 5 from 17. Execute, and we check that we turn at 610 feet to 64 heading, and we wait for vectors. Okay, so this has been set up. Now, we put the zero fuel weight. Reserves, we go here and we see that the fin rest is, sorry, the fin rest is 1.1 tons, 1.1. Our cost index is 5. And our cruise altitude 340. Now, at this point, we see here the cruise, this is the average wind at cruise, which we can find it here, and you can put it, we can put it in, but in this particular case, we're going to use the automatic wind request and get it for each point. And forecast is ready. Execute.
Where were those?
So,
Where were those forecasts?
so you go to legs, RT data,
RT data. Okay.
and you say you wind requests, and then it loads the winds aloft, and it says that I also have winds for descent. And you go to descent, and you go to forecast, and it's you say you click on load, or you would make a separate request. Okay.
And if the request doesn't work, then I have set something up wrongly.
Then you can, for the cruise part, you can just go to your init page and put the average here.
Yeah, I know, but do you have an idea why it might not work? Is it some specific setting that I need to make? Because root I was able
No,
to download just fine.
I suspect that in the sim brief you have put something wrong with your type, and that's what he
Okay.
doesn't like.
Okay. But root I was able to, request correctly. But alright, thanks.
Yeah. Now the thing is that nobody stops you to go to each of these um, points
I
and
know
put
what
your
I
own.
did. I know what I did differently. I didn't set up the cruise altitude, so yeah.
Okay. All right. So we start again. Our init page is ready, and now we go for the takeoff data. And here we select 17, import. We have a gross weight of 70 tons. Center of gravity is 25.7 datum. Import weather 0. Calculate. I'm too heavy. Okay. I'm going to calculate again 68. That's again problem with sim brief data and the plane data. So I'm going to put 68 tons, which is of course not something that you do in real life. So the interesting part here is that it says accelerating height 3,000 feet, which is normal. That's what you usually expect. The acceleration height is the height that you transition from the takeoff phase into the climb phase. What bothers me is that the departure here says that immediately after takeoff, I have to turn left and climb heading 064. So the question now between the two pilots is how we're going to execute the departure. Suggestions?
I have some, but I'll wait for others. Guess nobody else is speaking. So, well, I would definitely, start the turn at 400 feet, at least. That's like the minimum. And then, but maybe you were asking something else.
No, I was asking exactly that. Now I'm saying that the 400 is too low for my
Yeah,
liking, to be honest.
might be. Yeah.
In general, all jets stay on track apart from when you have special departures. You don't change direction until you reach 1,500 above ground level. Why? Because you have set up the airplane for the maximum lift. So in this particular case, it says that we're going to go full power, take off, no reduced, no derated. We're going to have a very high trim, and we're going to go with flaps 15, which is the maximum for the takeoff. Usually it's 5. That indicates that it's a short way, it's a short runway. So we are barely going to take off. And when we have our wings level, we're going to take off. But the moment we have some bank, we're losing some of the lift for the turn. So I feel insecure to do it below 1,500 above ground level. Although the 3,000 as an accelerator height, we're not breaking that because we're going to we can't do the turn, and we're not going to change into climb configuration until we reach 3,000. Do we concur?
Okay, we concur.
Okay, so we are going to climb to 1,500 AGL, and then we're going to follow heading to 3,000, and then we're going to get vectors. So we're going to set up with this data our FMC, and we go here. So the temperature outside is irrelevant, although I will put that in. So we have temperature of 11. It is already 11. So the selected is whether we want to trick it into thinking that it is a different. I'm not going to trick it. I will leave it blank, so it is 11. And it's takeoff, no duration, no anything else. We go to takeoff, flaps 15. Center of gravity is the one that we're expecting. The trim is the same, 3.546 and 3.58. I believe that because I have put a lighter weight into the EFB. And so we have this V1, VR, and V2. Now, what is V1? Yes?
How did you generate those?
If you go to you put your numbers here, you go to N1 limit where you put the engine settings, and then you click on takeoff, and you go to takeoff reference page.
Yeah, but I don't see the V speeds for some reason.
Yes, because you have to set up the flaps,
I have.
the CG.
And oh, I don't have a runway there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm behind.
And have you set up the departure?
Yeah, now I have.
Okay.
Sorry for interruption.
No problem. Now, what is V1, V1, VR, and V2?
Well, I know that, but I'll wait.
Yep.
Anyone, guys?
V1 is the point of no return. If you got a problem, you're going to deal with it in the air. VR is rotate, of course, and V2 is your minimum climb out speed in case of engine failure or something like that.
Very good. Very good. So when we're doing calculations for our takeoff, there are three scenarios. One is the normal scenario where we take off and we need to cross the threshold 5 feet in above ground level, and that's how we calculate how much if there is enough takeoff runway available. And for example, if I have put 5 flaps, I will need more speed for my weight. Hence, I will need longer runway. So that's why these parameters define how how much runway I can use. Because I'm in a short runway, we see that we are not using any derated setting for the engine. Derated setting is if you have a big runway, you don't need to stress your engines to full power. You can take off with 95 N1 or 92 or even 87 in some cases. But now we are heavy. We are in the short in a short runway, and so the calculation says that I need full power. I need 138 knots with 15 flaps in order to produce enough lift to take off. The other scenario is that while we're taking off, we are losing an engine. Depending on when you're losing the engine, it's much better to stop or continue the takeoff. The V1 tells you that if you haven't reached that, it's much better to brake if you lose the engine or for any other reason and not reject the takeoff. But if you cross that, you are committed. Now the V2 is correctly the speed I need to maintain if I lose an engine. So if I lose an engine after V1, I'm committed, and I know that after rotating, I will have a minimum of V2 to maintain in order not to stall. With this information now, we are setting up here our command panel, and I'm going to, it says 147, and I'm going to put 157 because in normal circumstances, I don't need the V2. I'm sorry.
Isn't it like plus
I'm going
20?
to plus 10 or plus 20, something in the middle. I usually put 10 knots on top of it.
Okay.
And that's it. So I pre-select the VNav and the level change. And so I'm ready. I have prepared my cockpit.
Regarding altitude, are we going all the way to the cruise altitude or just those 3,000 first?
Look, I'm sitting right now. You are absolutely right. Because in theory, I will be cleared only to 3,000. But I'm expecting that I will have a clearance before that. So I'm not going to scroll down again the whole numbers. You are right. Initially, we need to put only what we are cleared for.
Which might not even be 3,000, but whatever is in the, in the clearance.
Well, the thing is that we assume that we are cleared for the departure, so the 3,000 is given.
Mhm.
All right. And so now it's the time where the two pilots do the takeoff briefing. So the pilot flying is doing the briefing and the pilot monitoring is listening. And the takeoff briefing doesn't include only the takeoff, it includes everything. And parts that has to do with threat and terror. So in this particular case, we're seeing that we have rain. So the runway is going to be slippery. And that's why we have this V1. So I'm raising the awareness that if we need to abort, if we need to reject takeoff, we're going to use the reject takeoff setting, and you need to be standby on helping me with manual brakes. We are close to the takeoff. So after we start the engines, we need to stay and monitor the engines and not start taxiing because we don't have enough to warm up our engines before we perform the takeoff. We need to stay with the engines running enough time to warm them up. We are also going to do a run up in the lineup just to make sure that we are ready. Now, the taxi, we talked about the threat about having the weather, slippery runway, and the taxiway very close. The takeoff itself, since we're going to do a run up, I'm going to keep the uh, brakes on with manual brakes on. I'm going to increase thrust to 40% and monitor for the temperatures. Then to 70% and monitor for vibration. And then I'm going to release the brakes and go for toga and start rolling. Anything happens before VO1, we reject takeoff and we come to a full stop. You need to take care of emergency procedures for evacuation. After V1, we are committed to take off except for fire. If after V1 and before taking off, I will make the call on in case of fire whether we reject or not the takeoff. After all, and after touching out, taking off, we keep runway heading until 1500 without changing takeoff configuration. And then we turn to heading 064 and we climb to 3000 feet. In case we lose communications, from that point, we turn into the Olympia VOR and we go into the published holding. Any questions or suggestions?
Nope.
So what I wanted to pass on with this briefing is that we are not preparing for the happy scenario. The pilots always fly feeling that they are the most unlucky people in the world, and anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and we need to be prepared. When we fly general aviation planes, we do that. Sometimes we do it mentally or with instinct, but sometimes we don't. And also, when there is a cockpit with two crew members, because they have to brief each other, they have to do this conversation. So that is part of the threat and error management because nothing is left uncovered. When you fly alone, you usually do your briefing in your mind, but because you are doing in your mind, a lot of times we skip. It's good if we talk to ourselves and do the briefing to the back of our mind and question ourselves. Have we thought about everything? Even if you fly a Cessna. Okay, so now it's time to
One thing,
start our engines.
Spyros.
Yes? Yeah,
Shouldn't we have selected heading select on the MCP instead of VNAV?
correct. I was planning to fly by hand anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in that case, let's, have the correct flight director
yeah,
input.
correct. Okay. So we start our engines.
To which point,
Uh,
sorry, to which point do you expect to actually give these explanations? Just take off or the whole flight?
What's the explanations?
Like what exactly you're doing with the aircraft and so on?
I'm not. I wasn't planning to go into the details about the aircraft
Yeah, I
because
know,
that's more of a
but
type rating.
yeah, I know, but you're like setting up, so you will be commenting that the whole time, right?
I don't mind. Yes, I
Oh,
don't mind, but
okay.
it's not going to be relevant for everybody. Anyway, so I have my APU started. I am on APU power and APU, and I'm going to start my engines. To start the engine, I need air bleed. The air bleed is provided by the APU, and we have the isolation valve open so that it can go to both engines. Because the right engine is the furthest away from the APU, this is the first I'm going to start. And so I'm doing a ground start for engine number 2, and we see nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Because I have my bleed packs open, the one that gives into the air conditioning, and they consume all the air. I'm turning them on, and now I see that it spins. And when I see N2 at 20, I give fuel. And I monitor.
Do you remember at which point do we switch off the central tank fuel pumps for the takeoff and climb? Is it that there was some limit,
After
right?
you usually, when you go into the en route climb, after you have finished the maneuvers from getting out of the airport, you turn the center tanks. But right now we don't need the center tanks. We don't have we have a little bit of fuel. Yeah,
Yeah, but there was some limit. Like if there was above some limit, you can leave it on, even during the climb. But if there was below that limit, you should turn it off. And I just don't remember the limit now. If
with
it, if
so
it was like
I
two
don't
tons.
understand. Hang on, let me start the engines. Turn on what, the center?
Yeah, there
I
was
don't
like
understand.
there was some rule I believe that if in the center tank you had like below some level of fuel, you should really not use it for takeoff and climb, because there is like too few fuel to actually reliably feed the engines. But if you were
Oh no,
above a certain level, then it's okay.
it doesn't have to do with having enough fuel for the engine, because even if you turn the pumps of the center, they only push fuel from the center tank to the wing tanks. They don't give directly to.
I know.
But
Okay.
so even if you have full center tank, you don't use the center tanks during the takeoff and landing,
Okay.
because you don't want the center tank to be a conduit between the wings, because you might have fuel traveling from one wing to the other.
Okay. Yeah, I believe I heard
Makes
something
sense?
different at
Please
somewhere,
tell
but
me.
I believe that I watched that course that the mentor pilot and this Ben and Peter made, and I believe they said something like that. But I don't remember exactly, so I'm just not
The
gonna.
thing is, the thing is that in general, there is a minimum usable fuel in each tank that you don't use it,
Mm.
because it might be contaminated. Yes, that is true. But it doesn't have to do with the phase of the flight.
Okay.
Okay. That's how much I know. All right. So we have our engine started. We can put our packs on again, and we can enable our generators. And now that we are not relying on the APU anymore, we can turn off APU bleed and turn off the APU itself. And now we forgot to secure the ground services
Can do it also on the tablet.
release. Yeah,
And wheel chocks.
remote shocks. Okay. So now, yes, perfect. And I'm ready now. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Spyros.
Uh,
At this
yeah.
time, I'll just switch my stream to my own plane, but you know, so I won't be transmitting yours. But feel free to
Mm-hmm.
comment, you know, from now on. If,
Yeah.
yeah.
Remind me the local frequency.
124.4.
Okay.
And even though we are flying like VNAV and so on, we should still kind of tune in the frequencies, right, of the VORs that we're gonna use.
What we need to certainly hang on. What Let me go back to where I was. What we need to set up certainly, because it's part of the departure procedure. If we lose communication, is to set up our the Olympia VOR. So we go here and we see that it is the 113.4. 113.4.
So, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Spyros, and you know, see you in Ketchikan. I'll be definitely joining the Discord, you know, voice again, but not right now. So let's try to set it up, and let's taxi. Okay, so parking brake off, and let's see. Let's wait for them. Of course, I have not set up my takeoff trim. So let's see, where was it? Trim 5.5. Okay, roughly there. Let's keep taxing. Let's clip the wings. Okay. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. As always, as before, I'm just gonna taxi to that runway there. Just to give myself more space. What am I hearing? Oh. Yeah, I was hearing Spyros' stream. Oh, it's alright. More options. Alright, so I will reset here fuel flow. Okay. I will switch off these center tanks. Speed navigator radius check, positional light strobes, taxi lights off, and we'll just turn on all the landing lights. Traffic. Alright, here I need to switch to TAD array. Clock start. Let's see, is it like this? Oh, that's chronograph, okay. Let's see, clock start. Okay. Auto throttle. And let's try to go on. Olympia traffic, Alaska 67, taking off runway 17, left turn around afterwards. Olympia. FPS takes a little hit, hopefully it's gonna be better. Right. So let's advance to 40 and 1, we're on the brakes. Let's try if that works. Let's hit Togo. We are taking off. And we don't have this selected. $80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. We are above 600 feet, so we can start turning, but I will do that now. We are above flaps 5, so let's set flaps 1. Okay, 3,000 feet.
Olympia traffic taking off runway 17, Alaska 6 Golf.
Let's go flaps up. Probably too soon. Air conditioning. Yeah, not doing very good job with this flying. But let's say now that we can go direct the VOR, so let's actually go there and let's say that we are cleared into the higher altitude. And let's do level change and let's try VNAV. Will it work? Yeah, we are flying all over the place, aren't we? Let's see if that fixes the issue. Let's recall. Yeah, there was air conditioning valley because we have started premature descent. Okay, I understand now. So let's actually get on track, right? No, that's not the range. Which is the range? This one. Okay, we have VNAV, but we are still in heading select. I guess that if we cross that one, we should be able to get it. And I have not set up my altitude. Yeah, a lot of things going wrong here, but yeah. Let's see what was actually the correct QNH there, or altimeter setting. It was 3009er, so let's correct that. Barrow setting is that there? Okay. We're above 10,000 feet, so it automatically selects higher speed. Landing lights can go off. Now we still have a heading select. It's terrain there. Let's see, do we have weather radar actually? Seems to be something akin to weather radar. And I can definitely switch off the auto brake. Flaps up, landing lights are off. Okay. Still on heading select. Yeah, because in the yeah, of course. In this, I need to select that one because we are not on vector anymore. We are at a completely wrong place. Yeah, should have noticed that I'm flying completely wrong way. Yeah, this is like me not being not being familiar with this at all and trying to make it work. But we noticed at some point when we switch to the standard pressure now. Air temperature is 0, so let's switch on our anti-icing. Where is it? Anti-ice. There, we have wing and engine. Switch of V now. Let's try to do that again. Oh, that's vertical navigation. Then we had to do an LNAV. Okay. Yeah, that's what I missed. It's vertical navigation and lateral navigation, of course. So where are we gonna go? It's too cluttered, this weather radar, so let's turn it off. Don't believe we need anti-ice anymore, so let's turn it off. Yeah, completely over the track. Right. Okay, stuck mic. Guys, someone has a stuck mic there.
Is it me?
I don't know.
What do you say stuck microphone?
On VETSIM.
Ah, no, that's not me.
Thomas, it could be me because I'm trying to set my controls for the first time again, and I'm not sure how to take it out.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, I'm just not sure because I got a new laptop and. Okay.
If you are not going to fly, just disconnect.
Yeah, I do want to fly. Is there, Thomas, is there any way to know how to unstuck your stuck microphone?
I don't know really.
Okay.
You need to go to settings on the vPilot and
Okay.
on the you need to set a push to talk button.
Yeah, and that is what I've done. And it shows the button, but then it's kind of always on. I don't know why.
Which button?
Well, I've set up one on my yoke. It's like a set at Pro Flight yoke. It's a button 10, but it shows it always on. I'm not sure why.
Okay, try to put a button from the keyboard for the time being and resolve it afterwards.
Okay, so I've done that, but does it still show as it's stuck?
You need to disconnect and reconnect.
No, now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I just test my microphone with everybody?
Yeah, I tuned off the frequency now.
Okay. November 75600, audio check.
We are in Unicom if you are not there.
And by the way, there is a central controller up ahead, so make sure you contact them.
Is it? Oh, there it is.
But I'm basically planning to contact them once I'm close to Tatoosh. And I'm planning to contact them once I'm close to Tatoosh, actually.
I think you went a little bit far to the east.
Yes, I incorrectly set up my aircraft and I was just hand flying it and flying east, and following the heading instead of, realizing that I need to remove that from my route page or likes page.
I also had problems for some reason. It didn't get the heading level, and I just went manual flying for some time until
I believe my problem was manual flying. Now I'm rusty on this, so I was just going elsewhere and was just realizing, okay, I see that yellow line, so I'm trying to kind of capture. I was trying to capture VNav, and what I meant was LNav, and I was like completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny.
And finally, PMTG has a weather radar.
Yeah, but it seems kind of cluttered. It just.
It's what
Yeah, I believe it shows clouds and not precipitation. But I might be wrong.
it's what the platform shows, and it's much better than nothing.
Yeah, but I believe it is clouds, right? And not really precipitation.
It's clouds. I don't know, to be honest. I don't want to say something.
Okay.
Weather doesn't show only precipitation. It shows even heavy clouds that are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go through them, you're going to get wet.
Ah, hard to say. But I'm gonna turn it off right now because it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of too much color on my display. But yeah, you're right. It's better than nothing.
So for some reason, I'm 300 kilos too low on fuel. I spent probably too much on the takeoff
Mm-hmm.
and the run up.
Yeah, my alternator is like too far away, so should be fine.
Yes, yeah. But all I'm trying to point out is that we monitor fuel and the general the execution of the flight on each checkpoint. So right now I'm already 300 kilos below calculated, but maybe with the tailwind I will catch up.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
So now this is the boring part. Around right now we are 500 miles from our destination. Usually around 150 miles from the destination, we do the descent and approach briefing, but we are going to do it much earlier in case because we're going to take it slow. I'm in the controller now. I have to make a call. I just use text on the vPilot because I don't want to make the calls and
And
you also
Vancouver
hear them.
Unit 2056 requested.
Unit 2056, Vancouver Center, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Just like to switch to company frequencies for about 5-10 minutes. We'll advise back on with you.
Unit 2056, approved, report back.
Okay, 2056.
Why are you using text again?
Yes, because I don't want to make the calls and I'm also heard in I'm not going to say a lot of things anyway.
Ah, okay.
So on at the Ketchikan we have winds 130 knots and scattered 2,400 with broken 3,200. So it's going to be a visual. We're going to have visibility.
Vancouver Center, Alaska 67, good day.
Alaska 67, Vancouver Center, good day.
Alaska 67 is about 25 miles east of Tango Oscar Uniform VOR, and soon will be in your airspace, flight level 360.
Alaska 67, thanks for the heads up. Squawk code will be 3733.
3733, Alaska 67. Okay, wanted to check something. Cannot remember what. Yeah. No. For the life of me, I cannot remember what I wanted to check.
In Vancouver, United 2056, back on frequency with you.
Yeah, 2056, roger. Yeah, 2056, when ready, descend 14,000,
Yeah, it looks like with the
Rupert
Yankee,
altimeter
there's a
2995.
course reversal in there.
14,000 on 2995 when ready,
I
United
just don't know
2056.
the matter. It's just that the Zulu looks a little bit easier for me.
The thing is that my personal opinion is that if we go for the Yankee, we will have to go with a feeder into Kogox, then fly out, and then at 20 miles we have to do a procedural turn first to the left, go for 1 minute, and then turn around, and we have to do that at 4,600 while we are preparing for landing, and with the mountains around, it can be done, but we're flying an airliner. If I was flying a Cessna, I will pick up the Zulu, the Yankee. But with an airliner, I will pick up the Zulu for the reasons that I explained. So let's try to set this up. And we go to arrivals. And we say ILS.
Do we have any star there? I believe not.
No. ILS Z from execute legs. So we have 300 miles to the top of descent. And let's start the descent briefing early. So with the ILS Zulu approach for runway 11, what are the things that we need to look for? What we need? Are there any threats that we need to accommodate?
Let's see. I'll need to bring up the plate. So ILS Zulu, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Threats. Let's see. We have ADF is required, okay. Yeah, but we have like kind of RNP or RNF, how to say it? I believe you don't necessarily need ADF because we have like the equivalent of it, right?
Yes, although we will still set it up, but yes, because this approach can be executed by non-airnav planes. In this case, it is required.
Ah, okay, yeah. All right. Then threats. I believe just that turn, you know, that our aircraft can do that, or we can do that. Should be enough of a kind of a radius, but there is obviously a speed restriction at Monsieur, so we need to set up for that and be ready to be at that slow speed, you know, at time and while descending. So I would definitely check the programming, you know, of the FMC and to see, you know, if the computer actually counts with that. And also, I would make sure that we input correct winds because winds seem to be pretty high and we will be flying with the tailwind. So in order for the computer to calculate it correctly, we need to set it up correctly. That's, you know, my take on it.
Yeah. Let's focus on after the intermediate fix, so the winds are not going to be an issue. Any other threats?
There is some terrain, obviously, around the airport.
Yeah, Vancouver Center, November Golf Golf Sierra type.
So that's definitely a possibility, you know, and we need to count with that.
Now. Looking for flight following.
Other than that, I don't know.
Station calling departing Vernon. Say again, call sign only, please.
November Golf Golf Sierra.
Now, for some reason,
Golf
I
Golf
see
Sierra,
here
Roger,
on
Vancouver
the
Center, squawk
FMC, it says I need to be above 5,000 on Musue.
That's correct.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. So the threat that
Golf
I'm
Sierra
seeing
identified on change of code. Welcome.
is that we are going to do a turn and descent to capture, and we need to make sure that we're going to capture the ILS from below. So we need to be very careful on descending quick enough so that we don't end up on top of the glide scope.
Golf Sierra, Kelowna, altimeter 3010.
I know if you want to be safe, and you can
And
maybe
Gulf Sierra, are you
select the
planning on
hard
transiting
restriction
the
on
Kelowna Tower
Mosio
control
at
zone?
5,000 already, and not like 5,000 and above.
That's a
And
good
that
question. We were
should
just
put us,
planning on heading direct around 4,000 feet.
or maybe at
Okay, Gulf Sierra, you
Putin
will be
to select
passing through
3,000.
the Kelowna Tower control zone at 4,000 feet. That's
one
approved.
small correction. When we're doing the briefing, we are not saying how if the FMC is going to fly the plane correctly. We are saying how we are going to fly
Japan
the
traffic
plane
Pacific
correctly with
1992
or
is
without the
inbound for
FMC.
runway
Okay.
11
So for the time being, I will leave
and
it
passing
as
Ann
is. All I'm
at
saying
this
is that I'm
time.
going to monitor, and if I'm not happy, I will take over. I'm not going to fight the FMC. All I'm saying is I'm going to monitor, and if I don't see sufficient descent during the turn, I will take over. On the other hand, what you said is not wrong. I just wanted to stress more on what we
Station
check
calling
to
on
monitor and what
1337
is
for
the
Ketchikan
reaction,
traffic.
rather
This is the
than.
Vancouver Center frequency
But let's try to
for
do
the
that.
local frequency at
So
Ketchikan. The CTAF there is frequency 123.6. 123.6.
let's put
I copy that.
5,000
1992.
on Mush. So you see, what we did now with Thomas was two pilots, let's say assuming that they were in the same cockpit, we made suggestions, we exchanged views, and we made the best combination of both of these, and that is what they called crew resource management. Because I didn't say, yes, Thomas, whatever you say. He didn't say, no, whatever you say. We made a combination that, okay, we're going to force the FMC to put us where we want to be, and we're also going to monitor and take over if it's not. You see what I'm trying to point out?
I do.
Okay. So, do you want, Thomas, you to do the approach briefing?
Please do. Because I will learn from you.
Okay. So, first we start with weather, and we say that okay, the weather, we're going to have a high headwind. This is a good or a bad thing?
High headwind?
Yes.
Well, on the landing,
During,
it's definitely a good thing.
yes. So that is a good thing because it helps us do a better landing despite trying to land. Actually, we have a long runway, so we don't even care about
Vancouver
that.
Center Pacific 1100 checking in at 340 crossing Charlie Foxtrot Sierra Kilo Hotel.
Pacific 1100,
Weather-wise, we
Vancouver
don't have any
Center.
threat.
Thanks for checking in. Sorry for the beep. Identified. Welcome.
One
I
threat
got the beat, no problem.
we identified and we addressed it to mitigate. Any other concerns that we might have? Okay. Now, we need to make sure that if for any reason we deviate from our pre-described route, we need to climb to 5,800 at least. And after the threat about turning into the ILS from below, if the autopilot lands us, aligns correctly, we leave it as is. Otherwise, we're going to take over. In any case, we are going to disconnect from the autopilot 1,000 feet above ground level. We need to capture at least at the Weddell above 2,400. The minima is 312 above ground level. It is an ILS, so we're going to set it like this. Let's start setting up the plane. So, it's Barrow and it's 314.
Isn't it 312? It actually doesn't matter that much, but...
Yeah, 12. Okay.
It's just 2 feet, you know.
300. No, it's important.
But you are playing it
So,
safe, right? You give yourself 2 feet
yeah,
extra margin.
no, yeah. So, I'm going to set up
FedEx Center, good
the
evening.
ANET
This is FedEx
VOR
8442 passing almost 12,000 feet.
FedEx 84 Heavy, Vancouver Center,
117.1.
climb flight level 350.
350, FedEx 84.
I'm going to set up the ADF 396. And I'm going to set up the ILS 109.3. We're going to go with category 1. The course is 115. Now,
And we should set it up already there, you know, still in en route. Those courses.
But the course is only when you do Vorlog.
I know.
So it doesn't matter
Okay.
because I'm not going to use it in any case. If I'm going to get vectors, I'm going to get a vector with a heading. So I don't mind putting it. We're doing it a lot earlier than usual, but I'm happy to do it. It's not interfering with something. Now, also we can use this switch to turn the ADF on if we need that. Although I prefer to use this one. And I'm going to, what else needs set up? That's it. So,
So what did you say about the ADF?
you can display the ADF indicator either here using this. It's going to display on the ND display, or you can select here whether to display on the secondary. And I prefer on the secondary to keep the VOR
Alaska
on the
29, Vancouver
primary.
Center.
Okay. Okay, so if I switch it to the right, then it's ADF. And
Yes.
on top it's... okay. But the second one also...
Pacific
Oh, I have
32, 36
two
when ready,
ADF
descend flight level 260.
options. Do I have two ADF
Yes.
receivers?
No, one.
So...
I think the controller is calling you.
Okay, let's see. Alaska 67, was it for me?
Negative.
Okay. They're not.
Okay, my mistake. Yeah. All right. So we continue. So we follow the ILS, preferably with autopilot until the 1,000 feet above ground level, which the elevation is 100. So 100 and 1,100. We're going to disconnect the autopilot. We set up the landing altimeter to 100. And now, if we have an engine failure during approach, what do we do?
Well, we continue.
Okay, so in case of engine failure during approach,
Canada 118 heavies through 8,000.
we're going to
Canada
have
118 Heavy, Vancouver Center, hello, climb flight
asymmetric
level
thrust,
390.
and the auto throttle is
Up
going
to
to be
390, Canada 118 heavy, good day.
disconnected automatically. So we're going to go manual, full manual, and the pilot monitoring is going to secure the
Golf
engine
Sierra, Penticton altimeter
and
3010.
execute the abnormal
3010,
procedures of
and
securing
can you
the
possibly get a
engine.
wind check for Penticton?
And we continue
Golf Sierra, Roger,
the
wind 130 at 11,
approach.
gust 17.
If in normal circumstances, if we don't
Thank you
see
very much,
the airport at the minima, we continue with the missed approach, the procedure, climbing to 5,100
Pacific
to
6132,
Charlie Mike Juliet
not copying
NDB,
you
and
on voice
then on
right now.
bearing 124 to Yukaro.
Oscar
As suggested,
29,
we're going to use the air nav equivalent of it and end up then to a net VOR for staying in the hold. Now let's see the performance
Vancouver, unit
of
2056, 15.5 for
our
14.5.
landing. So we're going to land on the
2056,
11.
descend 5,000. You cleared the ILS 13 approach, VTAX transition. Switch to the local frequency in Rupert now. The MF is 122.5. And if you're able, give me a call on the ground or in the missed approach, please.
Okay, United 2056, cleared down to 5,000, then cleared for the ILS 13 approach via VTAX, local 225, and we'll give you a call down or in the mist for United 2056.
Roger.
So we are
Pacific 6132, how copy?
Pacific
we are having
6132,
a
got you now,
VREF
Roger, copy
154
6132. We're
with
at Prince George,
plus
and we're pre-filed for
5
Ketchikan.
knots
Let's get IFR clearance.
already accounted for.
Roger, stand by. It could be a couple minutes.
And
Number one.
that means that we're going to
Couple minutes,
come
number one, Pacific
fast.
6132.
We have required 1,800 meters using auto brakes 3. So let's set this up.
6517, Vancouver Center, climb flight level
Auto
370.
brakes
I don't
3.
see the auto brake stuff there in the tablet.
Here.
That's
Oh.
Air Canada 118. We're going to be logging off.
Okay, I don't have it there.
Have yourself a good rest of your weekend.
That's different template.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh.
You are on the landing dispatch.
Yes.
You need to be on the landing en route.
Ah, okay. Sorry. So what is reverser config? All up?
That means whether you're going to use reverse or not.
I will.
If you put all up, it's going to be even shorter.
Okay.
flap config, also you can put 40, which is going to make it even shorter.
No, I don't want to.
I think.
What about the landing weight? I don't believe that it's programmed correctly, right?
The thing is that right now it made an estimation. It took our current. Okay, so
Yeah, it's
if you're going to
6517.
if
Seattle
you
Center
need
is
to be
offline.
sure,
You
you
can
need
switch
to
to the
go
on-air
there
frequencies now. Have a good rest of your flight.
and
Bye-bye.
say, okay, at PAKT it says I'm going to have 3.8 fuel, and because I have a
3236, Vancouver Center.
zero fuel weight of 62 plus
3236.
plus
Pacific 3236, did I
3.8.
give
It
you a
actually
descent plan?
calculates
So
correctly.
No, sir, I was just going to call you.
yes, exactly.
Roger, when
That's
ready,
what
descend flight level 260.
that's the calculation that it does.
Down 260, Pacific 3236. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we have a
Golf
V
Golf
ref of
Sierra,
148,
surveillance service
and we're going with
terminate.
flaps 40. So
The MF at
let's set this up.
Penticton is 118.5. Frequency change approved. See ya.
18.5, see ya.
Okay, so the usage of reversers will shorten my landing distance by just 200 feet.
Yes, and sometimes we don't even put that because it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Now,
Vancouver Center, with you at Campbell
continue
River.
with the
Let's pick
briefing.
up Papa by Friday,
So
Vancouver.
we discuss, usually we discuss all this and then we make the briefing, but now we go,
Golf Hotel Tango, India, Vancouver Center, squawk it in.
we say as we go. Now,
Squawk it down. Hotel Tango, India.
if we have
Hotel Tango, India, identified, cleared to Vancouver as filed.
a missed
maintain,
approach, if we don't see
flight level
the
210.
runway and we cannot land with already one engine off,
Okay, clear to Vancouver
what
as
do we
filed.
do?
Climb maintain, flight level 210, Hotel Tango, India.
Hotel Tango, India,
If we
reback
cannot
correct,
land?
proceed direct to the Comox TACAN on course.
Direct to Comox on course, Hotel Tango, India.
First of all, if we're going to do normal landing with 40 flaps, but if for any part of the approach we lose an engine, we're going to increase the speed by 20 knots and go for initially. We're going to make the call whether we continue or not, but we're going to do the landing or the missed approach with 30 after we have increased 20 the speed by 20 knots. I said it in a confusing way.
Yeah, I'm getting lost already.
Right, so let's assume that at 3,000 feet we lose the engine.
Your clearance is available. Are you ready to copy?
While we have set up the plane and it's going on 147.
Pacific 6132 is cleared to Ketchikan, Prince George 5 departure, then the flight plan route.
What we
Departure
do
runway 15, squawk
is
0141.
The pilot
Roger, cleared as filed.
flying makes the call whether to continue or not.
Departure, then route is
Regardless if we continue or not,
runway
we
15
increase
and
the
0141
speed by 20 knots and raise the flaps to 30.
Your
Why?
readback is correct. Pushback
Because
and startup are approved.
if you have asymmetric thrust and you have
Roger,
a lot of
pushback
flaps,
approved. We'll call ready for taxi, Pacific 6132.
it's very difficult to handle the plane.
Yes.
So if we continue, we will continue with doing flaps 30. Now let's see if we do flaps 30.
Hello, welcome.
And no reversal, because when you have one engine, asymmetric thrust, you are going to get some reverse, but you are not doing full reverse because you don't want the plane to spin. It's still useful, but we're not taking any credit for that. If we calculate, we're still inside. That's the calculation I wanted to show.
Yeah, but shouldn't we use like maybe flaps 15 for landing if we have one engine enough? We have even better control.
Good afternoon.
We can try that.
1238, passing 10,000.
That's also possible.
900 feet.
So we need to
flight
make
level
a decision.
350
If we're
inbound,
going to do the
and
normal
pilot
landing
A
with
Alpha
30,
November.
and in case of engine failure, we go 15,
Kind of 1238,
or
Vancouver Center, squawk in.
we make the normal approach with 40, and the one engine switch to 30.
Okay.
Kind of 1238, identified climb
The
flight
thing
level
is that I would prefer
350,
to
cleared on
do
course.
the normal approach with 40
cleared on course,
because
1238.
I feel nervous going too much close to
Vancouver
the end.
Center, Pacific 7260 heavy, flight level 400.
Okay.
Pacific 7260, Vancouver Center, hello, welcome.
Anything else we need to cover for the approach?
You tell me.
No, it's a multi-person crew, so we are discussing about it.
Well, I am good, definitely.
I'm also good.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm okay.
Okay.
I have like almost 20 minutes to top of descent. And I already input the descent forecast for the winds. So during because of the tailwinds, I believe it's just gonna start sooner than normal.
Okay. I see on mine it says I have to cross a net around 10,000 feet. That's a checkpoint.
And at 10,000 feet, let's see.
Well, that's something in your case it might be different because of your different weight.
I have roughly the same. I have like 150 feet more.
Okay, good. The important thing that we have to, and it's not there, is when we do the missed approach, we need to, when the decision has been made to go missed approach, we need to get the gear up immediately. The pilot monitoring handles the comms, and we need until the 1500 to reach the clean speed, which we will not, unfortunately, it doesn't, it's not displayed anywhere. It is calculated, it is in the performance chart. It appears here when we are descending with a dot that says that this is your clean speed, meaning that we need to reach that speed after we cross the we need to target that speed after we cross the 1500 on the missed approach.
So target like 212 or whatever there is.
Yes.
Yeah, you
you
have 230 almost. Right?
Yes.
Okay. You see, you're doing exactly the same speed as I am. Where are you currently?
Pacific 3236, you cleared down to 14,000. Ketchikan altimeter is
I am 170 miles from Annette.
299.5 down to 14,000 Pacific 2236. Thank you, sir.
170 from Annette. Okay, I'm way farther. I believe I'm almost 230 from Annette. Yeah. There's also one in between us then.
Yeah, I'm about 208 from Annette.
You are 29?
207 right now from Annette.
No, I mean your call sign.
Oh yeah, 29. Yeah.
Okay, Oscar 29. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we have Olympic 148. Then we have me, and behind me we have Pay 1100, but I don't know if that belongs to us or not.
No, because he left Auckland.
He what?
He left Auckland.
He left
He
Oakland?
comes from, yes, that guy is coming from Auckland.
Oh. But we were like 4 planes on the ground there.
Yes, but
Hotel Tango India Ketchikan
Chris
Fonda, your
had to
sign
leave.
code is 4521.
4521, is the top end, yeah.
And Thomas, even though I'm flying, I'm just not flying with you all. I'm just doing some touch and goes nearby.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get back. At least my PC is now okay. So
Also, another good practice is to set up expectations of performance of the plane. Meaning how much speed we're going to have on each point and where we're going to deploy flaps. So, for example, the rule is that we need to have a stabilized approach in full landing configuration, 1,000 feet above ground level. So, in order to achieve that, we need to achieve that in this specific approach by the point Ueku or Ieku, how much? And so, since we need to be under 210 knots at Muse before the turn, that is with flaps 2. So from bubble, we're going to start decelerating and we're going to have flaps 2 at that while during the turn we're not going to do any change of the configuration. We will continue with 210 knots and flaps 2. At Putty, we're going to start decelerating to the maximum to the approach speed
And will those like 6 miles
Thank you,
almost
Center.
be
Good
enough
afternoon, Pacific
to
6660,
decelerate?
heavy with you, level 160.
yes, because
A
at
few miles
Putty,
north of Vancouver.
we are going
Pacific
to, no, the thing
6660
is,
Heavy, Vancouver Center. Hello,
I,
climb flight
I
level
shouldn't have
360.
I
Climb
shouldn't have
360,
said yes,
Pacific 6660,
because
heavy.
you challenged that we might need to go
Hotel Tango India, when
slower.
ready,
So
descend
what do you
17,000,
suggest?
Vancouver altimeter 3003.
Not
17,000,
slower, but
303,
looking at it, you know, it still says that at Putty we should be at 3,000 or above, and I believe
and
the
Vancouver
aircraft will
Center
actually
through Prince Rupert RCO,
not be at
United
3,000,
2056.
and it will be like still descending, and I
2056,
believe that
go ahead.
while descending,
Yes,
like
sir,
6 miles
landed
might be
5-4 past the hour,
too
down and clear all runways.
few
secure
miles to
navigation.
actually
Yeah, 2056, 54,
decelerate,
IFR
but
flight plan
again,
closed. Thanks for
I
checking
have
in.
no
Okay,
Not a
so
problem. Thanks for your
if
services.
we feel that there is a threat that from Putty we're not going to have enough room to decelerate, then that threat can be recognized and we can mitigate that. So if you feel that it is a threat, please say so.
Yeah, but you know, I really don't fly this aircraft, so I don't know how fast it can accelerate. I just remember vaguely that it's pretty slippery.
Okay, so at Putty, we're going to put flaps 10
Vancouver Center,
from
Pacific
flaps 2, and we're going to drop the
6132,
gear.
we're ready to taxi.
So we're going to, this should be enough with the help of the brake,
Prince George altimeter
air brake to
2, the
actually
wind's
decelerate it.
16013, gusting 2.
Otherwise, we
Runway
can
15,
make
taxi apron, Charlie, runway
the
01,
approach
back taxi to
at Musue to
and
be at
line up runway 15.
190, and that will be enough to
Roger,
decelerate
copy,
without any extra handling.
apron
Yeah.
Charlie,
And what
back
about
taxi
putting flaps
01
5
to back
already
taxi
at Monsieur?
33 for
Is it
15,
alright?
we'll give you a call, we're ready for departure at Pacific
I believe I
You
see
can do
that.
whatever you, yes.
Yeah, the limit is like 250 knots, so it should
Hotel
be
Tango
fine.
India, contact Vancouver Terminal
These are all upper
132.3.
limits.
Yeah.
For Terminal 132.3, have a good day.
The only thing that I would avoid is to put the gear down before we turn into final.
Yeah, that's sensible.
Okay. So do we stick to 210 at Musue or we put it in 190?
Oh, I can stick with 210.
Okay. So it's a consensus. We go with 210.
How come you're flying fast?
Pacific
Oh,
32,
slowing
36,
down already.
anchorage offline, switch onward frequencies now, have a good landing.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Because
the
I'm
great
already,
ATC. You have
I
a
need to
good time,
descend.
sir.
Oh, you're already descending. No,
Pacific 32.
no, you're not
Olympic
descending yet.
148,
Not
when ready,
descending.
descend flight level 260. Olympic 148, Vancouver. Oh, Olympic 148, I'm sorry, I didn't see the text in there. You receive only. Okay, I got that now. When ready, descend flight level 260.
We usually do level change, right? These cases.
Because I'm late now, I started with level change and then I will switch to VNAV and I'm going to help it with some breaks because here you see I'm already 2000 above the pre-calculated glide scope.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you change the altitude on the MCP, I believe that it will start descent at the top of descent, right? You don't
Yes,
need to
if you
switch.
do it before the top of descent.
Yeah. Or I believe you can also go to FMC and click something like descent now a little bit ahead. So
Yes.
we just
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And it will, I believe, set up like 1,000 foot descent, and then transition to the
If you
normal
do
VNAV.
if you do VNAV, it's not 1000.
No, I mean if you
You
do
see,
VNAV, but shortly before top of descent, you hit the descent now
yes,
in
correct.
FMC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember something, from the
Vancouver
flight.
Center, Alaska 29.
Alaska 29, Vancouver Center. Hello. Welcome aboard. See you there at flight level 380. Confirm your mode Charlie on the transponder.
Let me check that real quick. I'll get right back with you. Alaska 29.
Roger.
Okay, it looks like I'm on mode Charlie for Alaska 29.
Okay, Alaska 29, thanks. Olympic 148, the Ketchikan altimeter 29903. You cleared the 14,000 now, descend 14,000. Uh, 14,000, 14,000. Roger. Alaska 29, when ready, descend flight level 260.
When ready, descend flight level 260, Alaska 29.
Alaska 67 vectors for your sequence, turn left, heading 270.
Turn left heading 270, Alaska 67.
And just to confirm, was that flight level 260 for Alaska 29?
Affirmative.
Thank you. It took me all this time, guys, just to get the radio working.
Pacific 6132, departure with me this frequency, cleared takeoff 15.
Roger, departure with you this frequency,
Glad
cleared
it's
takeoff
how-
15, Pacific 6132.
Glad it's working now. So now I've been put on a heading, so that brings me out of my course. So I will need to manage the kind of top of descent myself, like when to start, right?
Yes. When you see that you are parallel, because you go faster than Gene, that's why
And I'm going
he
pretty
deviated
slow.
you. Yes, but you were close.
Yeah, I know.
Probably you're going to get vectors directly to.
I wonder if I can still use VNAV descent. I probably can, but let's see how the computer will manage that. But I wanted to fly that arc.
Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly an arc.
It is an arc.
What I mean, a DME arc.
No, it's not a DMA arc. It's an RNF arc around some imaginary, point.
Did they give you vectors, Tomas? Because
Yes.
I'm going too slow.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You're being naughty.
Alaska 67, further left now, heading 250.
250 for Alaska 67, and if I can, I'm gonna use ILS Zulu approach to runway 11.
Alaska 67, roger.
You're bringing me further out.
In Vancouver Center, Pacific 6132, climbing through 9,700.
Okay. Pacific 6132, on that departure, you should be leveling out at 8,000 if I remember correctly. No problem. Squawk it in.
Coming in, 8,000, 6132.
I'm not sure if this controller is covering Ketchikan.
No,
climb
they're
flight
not
level
covering
380
Ketchikan.
and turn right direct to the Smithers VOR on course. That's Yankee Delta
So,
on course.
At some point, I will be put to my own devices.
We apologize, sir. We did not read that chart altitude, but we'll turn direct to Smithers VOR 6132.
Roger.
And Vancouver Center, Alaska, Flight 29, we'd like to request the ILS Zulu for runway 11. Okay.
Alaska 29, roger.
It's runway 11, Gene.
That's right. 1-1.
Vancouver Central, Alaska 67.
Alaska 67, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask when you're gonna make me parallel or something, because I'm now paralleling my top of descent, Alaska 67.
Alaska 67, let's do it now. It should work out, I hope. Proceed direct Henry on course.
Okay, proceeding direct Henry on course and request descent.
Alaska 67, when ready, descend flight level 280.
Descent flight level 280, Alaska 67.
Olympic 148. Anchorage Center offline, switch to the en route frequencies now. Have a good rest of your flight. Bye-bye. Southern 354 Heavy, Seattle Center's offline right now. You can switch to the en route frequencies. Have a good rest of your flight. Bye-bye.
All right, we're over to Unicom. Thanks for controlling today. See you.
Yep. Pacific 1100, vectors for your sequence, turn left heading 270.
Left 270, Pacific 1100.
Vancouver Center, aircraft 517, check it in through 110 for 160.
Canada 517, Vancouver Center, climb flight level 340.
340, Canada 517.
Alaska 67, for your information, traffic ahead, also now direct Henry is about a 1 o'clock 20 miles. So they're probably 20 track miles or maybe 18 or 19 track miles ahead of you, descending out of flight level 296. They're grounding 360, your ground speed shows 470.
Okay, information copied, Alaska 67.
Alaska 29, when ready, descend 14,000, Ketchikan altimeter 29903.
Descend 14,000 and altimeter is 29903, Alaska 29.
So what was the ground speed you were doing, Gene?
Me.
Let's see.
Or
I'm doing.
Or was it Chris? No.
350 knots.
350? Like ground speed?
Ground speed, yeah.
I'm doing 460.
Oh my gosh. I must have set something up wrong here because.
Do you use correct weather? Do you have like 90 knots of tailwind?
No, I've got about 87 knots of quartering, left quartering.
Yeah, okay. That seems to be alright.
We have a new meta for
destination.
destination.
Vectors, fly heading 020 for now.
We have a gusting
020
winds.
for Alaska 67.
So what that tells us?
Actually, Vancouver Center, can you say again that heading for Alaska 67?
Alaska 67, turn right, heading 020, and you're cleared now, flight level 200.
020 and flight level... Say again, sorry.
Alaska 67, no problem, flight level 200. So heading 020 and level 200.
020 and flight level 200 for Alaska 67.
Roger. Pacific 1100, turn right, heading 340 now.
Right,
Pacific 1100, fly heading 340. I blocked you there, sorry, try again. Pacific 1100, fly heading 340.
Copy that, 340, Pacific 1100.
Roger.
Gotta navigate or communicate.
Roger. Air Canada 29er. Anchor center's offline. You can switch to the en route frequencies now. Have a good rest of your flight. Bye-bye. Sorry, Alaska 29er, anchorage offline. Switch en route frequencies. Have a good flight.
Switch Alaska, okay, switch frequencies for Alaska Flight 29. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
You too.
All right.
Alaska 67, you're still gaining ground on that A320 ahead of you. They're out of 250 now. Grounding 310, and you're grounding 420 right now. You're going to overtake them. It's going to be a conflict, so I'm going to let you guys straighten it out. Proceed direct Henry, descend 14,000. Ketchikan altimeter is 29903. Speed is your discretion, sir.
Descend and maintain 14,000, altimeter 29903, and we will sort it out, I'm sure. Thank you, Alaska 67.
Roger. Stay on the frequency for another minute, but you can clear. You're clear direct Henry as well.
Clear direct Henry, Alaska 67.
Okay, I'm over a net. I should have 4.1 tons of fuel and I have 4, so I'm okay.
And what indicated speed you were doing, Gene, right now?
Indicating 180.
Why are you flying so slow?
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Like doing 245 on my side.
Gene, are you on VNAV?
Yeah, well, I'm on what autopilot managed mode, so it's kind of doing everything automatically. Let me see if I can increase my speed a little bit here.
Ah, you are on the Airbus, okay.
I can increase my speed to about.
I would like 250 can be like good speed right now.
250? Okay.
Alaska 67, I'm going to turn you loose now. That traffic
far
now
are you
is
from
12
your
miles
destination?
12 o'clock out of 217. And you're grounding 90 knots faster, 100 knots faster now than that other traffic. Switch you on frequencies now. Anchorage offline. Have a good landing. Bye-bye.
Okay, negative contact. Thank you for the information, and I'm going off the frequency. Thank you for your service, Alaska 67.
Pacific 1100, when ready, descend flight level 260.
Just gonna overtake you.
GPS 184, Roger, got you
Yeah.
receiving voice. Thank you.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Pacific 1100, Vancouver Center. Pacific 1100, I cut you off again. Need to be back again on the flight level 260.
260, Pacific 1100. We're just not hooking up today, I guess.
We have 123.6, right? For CTF.
Yep. That's what I've got. Yep.
So have you managed to increase the speed?
I have not. I tried to.
That's because I'll just overtake you.
Yeah, just that's probably the best option.
But again, 100 knots at 10 nautical miles, as we are still apart. That's how fast I'm gonna be there. It's not so fast, you know, it might not be able to overtake you in time. We'll see.
I'm closing to Musue. Landing lights on. The clean speed is 210.
For you.
Yep, flaps 2. And turning.
So I expedited
Localizer
my
alive.
descent to Moss.
So I can like overfly you.
Yeah, you certainly can.
Okay, we'll see. But I don't see you yet. I guess some engine ITIs and wing NTIs will be handy because we are entering clouds soon. Maybe you have already.
And
Not
now
yet.
that you said clouds, the PNG radar didn't show anything on these clouds because they don't have any rain inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I see there is nothing. Good. I lost you from my traffic display, Gene.
I'm sorry?
I lost you from my traffic display. Are you still connected to Batum? Or have you fallen out of the sky? No. Yeah, but I see you in front of me. At least some strobe lights are there.
Let me just turn that.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's possible that you. No, that's all right. I believe that it's because you descended too much and now you are like not considered as a conflict or possible conflict traffic for me, so you don't show anymore on my TCAS.
Ah, that would make sense.
Yes, but I see your strobes now. You're very close to the clouds.
Yes, I'm just about to enter the clouds. Yep.
Yeah.
Turn my landing lights on. Part of my spoilers.
Pacific B236, clear to access.
There we go. Ground spoilers and landing light.
I have been flying with the seatbelt signs on all the time. Doesn't matter.
Like Ryanair.
Yeah, actually I have it on auto. Is it possible to have it on auto? Or is it just... Oh, it's on or off, okay. Well, anyway, now they should come on, so... I don't allow passengers to freely walk along the cabin. They need to hold off their pee. There will be no anarchy. If they move about the cabin, I can feel it in my yoke, so no luck for them. Have you passed Anne already? Or Annette Island? BOR? Gene?
Yes, I just passed it.
Just past it, okay. I have like 3 miles to go there.
Okay, I'm at 5,000 feet doing 195 ground speed.
Okay, I'm still at 10,000 now. Now I'm passing Annet Island.
And
500.
I'm in the clouds at 5,000.
You're slightly off course as well.
Well, it looks like I set up the wrong approach.
Yeah. I'm now parallel with you.
Yeah. I think I accidentally set up the ILS Yankee with the course reversal. We'll see how that goes.
We are all experts here today. Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, currently parallel to the runway to the west, and we'll be going an approach from runway 11. Estimated arrival in 10 minutes. Ketchikan.
There you go, Tomas. See you on the little nav map there. Looks like we're gonna be okay.
I don't have any DME information. Strange. Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, 6 mile final, runway 11. Ketchikan.
Scan traffic, Pacific 1100 downwind. Downwind on the, rate downwind will extend out for the two Alaska aircraft fighting over the one runway.
Roger, Alaska 67. Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, 3 mile final, Ketchikan. And that is runway 11.
Ναι. Κατάλαβα. Πώς ήταν το ταξίδι?
You can mute yourself, Spyros.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
Μάλιστα.
Glide slow. glide slope, 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 glide slope.
I believe that is a go round.
Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
Something's going on. Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67 going around Ketchikan. Oh, I see. And overspeeding. I'm gonna break this aircraft. Really, yeah, need to learn a lot.
Well, that was an interesting landing.
Yeah, well, I had an interesting go around.
Oh, you.
I had a go around. I was not set up correctly for it.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw you here on the ramp. There's two other 737s.
Yeah.
One of them's the veered. See if I can find you. Okay, I see you.
Thomas and Jean, did I come across the radio well at Ketchikan? Did you hear me? Okay.
Was it you on the downwind?
No, I'm still about 20 miles away.
Oh, okay, then I don't believe I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm able to hear you guys, so there's something wrong with my mic. Okay, thanks. I just took off from a nearby airport and I'm trying to get to Ketchikan, but I need to fix my mic.
I guess Spyros had to leave, huh?
Maybe. I definitely need to practice some flying offline with this if I want to, you know.
Oh my God, me too. I mean, just so many things I don't know about it.
So Thomas, is the CTAS 123.60?
123.6, I believe.
So, and did you hear me now 5 seconds ago or no?
I have a completely different frequency there, so I definitely could not hear you, but I don't know why I have different frequency.
Somebody said 5 by 5. It wasn't the two of you. So I'm guessing. So what is your what is the Ketchikan frequency that you are all tuned to?
Well, I am for some reason tuned to something completely different, and I don't know why.
Oh, okay, okay. So
But 123.6 should be.
Yeah. Now, Gene, were you on 123.6 too?
Yes, I was.
So did you? Are you still logged on or no?
No, I've got my power off right now.
Okay, okay, that explains it. Because somebody did say 5 by 5. It wasn't the two of you. Anyway, I'm about 10 miles away.
See if I can get my. There we go. External power.
Ken traffic, currently on the axis, will be taxiing off Nelson.
Ketchikan traffic, Pacific 7260, 10 miles out. Taps on the localizer, ILS 11.
Ketchikan traffic, November 75600 is 10 miles out. Planning to join the left downwind for runway 11, Ketchikan traffic.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yep. 5x5, Cirrus.
Thank you.
Traffic
Thank you.
Pacific 1100, we are off the active on Alpha to the gate.
A lot of people flying into Ketchikan today.
Yeah, they just see that in the flight plan. Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, turning final runway 11, 10 mile final, Ketchikan.
Ketchikan traffic, Pacific 6132, turning at Annette Island. We are on our runway 11 ILS Zulu for Ketchikan, Pacific 6132.
Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, final runway 11, about 8 miles out, Ketchikan.
Pacific 1192 is on a very downwind runway 11, 2400.
Ketchikan traffic, November 75600 is joining the left downwind, runway 11, Ketchikan traffic.
Ketchikan traffic, Pacific 7260, runway vacated.
Ketchikan traffic, Alaska 67, 3 mile final runway 11, Ketchikan.
Pacific 1192, Pacific 6132, we got a visual on you at our 9 o'clock. We're descending through 4,300 to 2,900.
702, I'm holding at 2,400, low and slow. I'll come in after you guys.
Ketchikan traffic, Pacific 6132, descending through 3,200 for 3,001, right downwind for the ILS-Z, runway 11. We are beamed to airport. Ketchikan traffic.
Ketchikan traffic, November 75600 is turning left base on runway 11, Ketchikan traffic.
Some problem with the controller. Seems like my brake is stuck.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna disconnect.
Ketchikan traffic.
What the frack is going on? It's like completely. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay. We're gonna have this control over the nose wheel, and it was not centered.
Oh.
No, not a good flight today.
Well, I figure we made it, and that's good.
Yeah, plus my FPS started to go really down.
Yeah, I was not able to capture the glide slope for some reason because I had it set up wrong, probably. So I just had to disconnect the autopilot and fly it in. Where is Suresh?
Where is the taxiway? I don't see a taxiway to exit.
Yeah, I think it's all the way at the end.
Oh, okay.
Is it really downhill to the parking?
I'm sorry, what was that, Tomas?
Is it really downhill to the parking? It's like slope down on the taxiway.
I didn't notice it, to tell you the truth.
Check my stream if, you know, it's pretty prominent.
Ketchikan traffic, November 75600 has vacated the runway 11, Ketchikan traffic. Thomas, I feel very good that I was able to join you, at least partially. And Jean.
I'm sorry, Suresh, what was that?
I said I'm glad that I was able to join the two of you today, at least for a portion of the trip.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I actually started with the origination, then I landed somewhere in the middle, then I crashed, then I picked an airport close to Ketchikan, about 45 minutes away, and then I finally am here.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a very nice, I mean, the location, I'm glad you all picked it, very nice location. Is this the first time you're all flying a jet, or have you been doing it for some time?
On this group flight, it's the first time.
It's the first time, okay. Are you going to alternate between the jet and your regular?
I don't know. It was a pretty disastrous for me.
Well, I thought I saw your landing was good, right? What was wrong? I know you had to do a go around, but what went wrong?
I don't know. I will need to rewatch.
But have you had practice in this plane, or did you
No,
just pick it up?
No, I haven't flown it like for 2 years, so it's gonna be the reason. You know, I'm pretty rusty.
Okay. You know what? Frankly, my son, he took the laptop that I had. He gave me another one, so I had to do a whole lot of setting up. But then eventually I got it. But like they say, muscle memory. I just didn't remember so many things. But eventually, slowly and steadily came by. This is truly a nice place to land.
Yeah.
So how many people actually flew today in our group?
4?
4, okay.
Okay.
In fact, I still had the older version of vPilot that let me do the flight plan from within vPilot. I hadn't uploaded the newer version, but today, because I have a new laptop, I had to do the new version. So I had to figure out how to do the flight plan in VATSIM.
Mm-hmm.
And there, you know what, Thomas, I do have a question for you. So, what is the equipment ICAO code? What does that mean?
That's what you would do if you were doing like ICAO equipment codes.
So there isn't a drop down. What could I pick?
It's now I don't know really. It's pretty complicated. It's like the whole string of might be like 16 different characters.
Okay. In fact, yeah. This is the first time I was going to the flight plan on VATSIM, and I did not know that every aircraft also has an ICAO code. I thought only airports have it, but I learned it that you have even for aircrafts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. And off block, is that the departure time?
Off block is when you start moving away from your stand.
Okay, I guessed as much. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's good. So are you going to show how you tracked against your plan?
I don't think so. I have enough.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna you know shut it down here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe I'll just turn the APO off now. Battery off. And there we go. So the flight was really funny. I was glad I did it, but obviously I'm not happy with my performance. I might do some more offline flying just to get more kind of familiar with this if I want to get into it at some point. But so far I'll just disconnect the streaming and we'll stay in Discord.